I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which we are recording this podcast, the Bidjigal and Gadigal people of the Eora Nation. We pay respects to elders past and present and extend our respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people from all nations of this land. It's Wednesday, the Pick Me Up podcast day, and I would like to let you all know that we have an episode, but it's kind of not really an episode because we were meant to have a really great guest on this week, but I did this thing and I locked myself out of my house. So I'm going to tell you all about it. It's been a week, everyone. It's been a week. So I'll start at the beginning. Monday, busy day at work, totally fine, having a great time. Not really, actually, just having a hectic time. And I get home and I'm rushing and I'm like, yep, I'll get in the door, I'll grab all my podcast recording stuff and I will get in the car straight away, drive to where I'm going to be recording the podcast. It's all going to be fine. I'll be there like an hour early so I can prepare myself, make sure I know what questions I'm asking, blah, blah, blah. So get in the door, but I really needed to pee. So I put my keys down on the table. I never put my keys on the table. I have a key bowl that I put my keys in so that I don't forget them and so that I can not lose them, basically. Whatever. Anyway, so I put them on the table, run to the bathroom, come back out, grab all the podcast stuff, put it in my bag, got to get my dog because she's going to come to the podcast recording because why not? Grab her. Then I'm like, you know what? I was already going to be an hour early, so I'm going to have a little snack. So I open the fridge. Of course, I have olives. So olives is my go-to snack. So I grab the olives and I'm getting a little spoon and just taking my time, having a few olives, da-da-da. And then I was like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm going to get stuck in traffic. I better get going. Put the olives back in the fridge, grab my bag with all the podcast stuff in it, grab Frankie, walk out the door, and then bang, the door closed. And I was just like, oh no. My keys are on the table on the other side of the door. Oh, I forgot one part also. When I got out of the car, so I drove back from work, got home, and I was like, I'll just run upstairs and do all the things. I was like, I'll just leave my handbag on the front seat and my phone in the car because I'm literally going to be 5 minutes. So I'll just run upstairs, get the things, run back and jump in the car and keep going. So I did all the things, and as I had that moment of oh no, I've come out the door, my keys are on the table on the other side of the door, then I was like, oh shit, my phone is in my car, my handbag is in my car, and my key for my car is also on the other side of the door. Just going to leave that with you all for a minute. So I had no house keys, I had no phone. But then I was like, okay, what do I do? What am I going to do? Can't call a locksmith. Also, in this economy, my sister has my spare key, but she's overseas. So my parents now have the spare key and my parents live 2 hours out of Sydney. I had my Apple Watch on, and because I like to not take my phone when I'm running, I got the Apple Watch with the cellular data. So I sat down on the floor in the stairwell of my apartment with Frankie. Can you imagine if I didn't get Frankie? She'd be stuck on the other side of the door for who knows how long. Anyway, so I had her with me. We sat down on the floor in the stairwell outside my apartment. I get my watch and I'm like, call my mum just to see if she wants to, take a little road trip up to Sydney to give her daughter her house keys. So I called my mum and I was like, hi, so I've locked myself out of the apartment. anything you can do. And she was like, well, I'll be in Sydney tomorrow at 12. I was like, awesome. Okay, no worries. That's fine. Then I was like, oh my gosh, I need to call everybody who's going to be at the podcast recording. So I call all the people and be like, guys, I can't get there. Well, I can get there. No, I can't get there because I don't have any money because my phone is in my car. This was the time. Anyway, so I call all the podcast people, be like, stop, like, don't make your way there. I'm not going to be there because I've done a thing, locked myself out of my car in my house and all the things. So they were all thankfully fine with it. So I call mum and she's like, what are you going to do? You're going to have to call a locksmith. But the apartment building that I am in, like, to be able to get in to my apartment building or even just get like a spare key for my apartment building it's a nightmare, actually. It is a nightmare. So I'm like, I need to think of a friend that will take me in with my dog, like feed me dinner, I guess. Feed my dog dinner. Get me to work in the morning. Yeah. So, and one thing is I had my laptop with me. So I was like, I need to get some content. So I opened good old photo booth and like turned my laptop on its side and was like, yes, I am filming myself, made a little video, which I'll post, of me and Frankie in the stairwell, having locked myself out of my house and my apartment. That's the same thing, out of my apartment and my car. Anyway, so I phoned a friend on my watch. So I'm like sitting there like talking into my wrist like a dork. And an amazing friend took me in for the night, fed me dinner, fed my dog dinner, had me and my dog for the night, and then took me to work the next day until my mum got there to pick me up and then took me home, dropped Frankie back at home, changed my clothes. I didn't have a change of clothes. So I'm like rocking up to work in the same clothes. Luckily I had a jumper on and I had a t-shirt on underneath and I hadn't taken the jumper off the day before. So I just wore the t-shirt, but the same jeans, pulled the old wash your underwear in the shower trick. So that was fun, and went to work the next day and then snuck home at midday and showered and got dressed. And actually I had showered. I just changed my clothes and whatever. Wow, I'm so bad at telling stories. Anyway, so yes, that was my Monday night. And that is why today we don't really have an episode. We have an episode that's not really an episode. But we do have some really great guests coming up that I will try not to lock myself out of the house for so that I can make the recording. I've never locked myself out of the house until this year, and this year I've done it twice. I don't know what it is about this apartment. I just seem to be, or if it's like I'm always in a rush. I don't know. But I was doomed from the second I didn't put my keys in the key bowl. How are you? How's everybody? What's been happening? It's September. And I feel like we're on the top of the roller coaster. I don't know. It's like you hit September and then all of a sudden it's like a roller coaster all the way down until you get to Christmas. Melbourne had their semi-finals on the weekend, which means it is not far off until the finals on the 26th of October in Sydney. Talking about the songwriting prize here, sorry. I'm just chip-chopping all the way around different topics today. But yeah, the songwriting prize the finals are already like so close. Like kind of like a month away. 26th of October in Sydney. Woo! So that's exciting. Yeah, I guess I'm going to hit you guys with some tracks that I've been listening to. And that's kind of it for me this week. If you're busy like me, stay healthy. Call a friend if you need to. Make sure you go back and listen to all of the Pick Me Up podcast episodes. The last two were like such fun. We did a good bunch of Kate's Takes last week. Oh my gosh. So make sure you go back and listen to them because they're fun. And the next few weeks will be some really cool guests. So make sure you are following us on the socials so you know who's coming up. And thanks for listening to my amazing locking myself out of my apartment story. So that was fun. Here are some tunes that I've been listening to this week. I've gone into a bit of a new, I don't know, my Spotify sometimes, it gives you stuff that you've been listening to heaps. I'm no, I want new vibes. So I've discovered a new band. I might be, as I always say, late to the party. Maybe I'm not, but Couch. Super cool. Summer With You I've been listening to by Couch. I've been listening to For Life by Stephen Day. Another one by Couch, Easy to Love. And I'm getting back into Sammy Ray and the Friends because just so good. So The Feeling by Sammy Ray and the Friends from the album Good Life, which is banger. So yeah, that's what I've been listening to currently. I'm going to leave you all with that. Make sure you come back and be ready for our guest next week. Yeah. Have an amazing week, everybody. Get out in the sun if you can. And I'll see you next week. Thanks so much. Bye.